Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Sandeep Pednekar, and you're listening to One Universe, the non-profit One Universe that's based on promoting positivity through the promotion of love, peace, and harmony. And through this non-profit, we have this wonderful show, One Universe, that is based on promotion of love, peace, and harmony. This morning, we have Dr. George Campbell with us, who also promotes love, peace, and harmony. What we are going to ask him is how he does it, and the way he does it, what all does he do to make that things happen. So welcome to the show, Dr. Campbell.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm George Campbell, Dr. George Campbell, of course, originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and I moved back from Des Moines, Iowa. Grew up native Memphian, and pretty much a family of, I come from a family of 10.
Okay.
7 boys, 3 girls. I'm the youngest
All right.
of
Okay.
7 boys, 3 girls.
Mhm.
And there's 7 of us now.
Okay.
Dad and Mom taught us to simply treat others the way we want to be treated,
Mhm.
and to make a difference, in our community.
And your education.
I attended Orleans Elementary here, which is closed down. I hate they closed our school, but came out of my high school, Overton High School,
Okay.
Performing Arts.
Mhm.
So I was the first to come out of the CAPA program, Creative and Performing Arts,
Okay.
to come back to teach in the community. I came out of Overton, and I was fortunate. I had 11 scholarships. My mom and dad didn't have to pay a nickel for college.
Very nice.
And so I attended University of Arkansas,
Mhm.
and where I received my undergraduate music education.
Okay.
I also studied at Virginia Union University, psychology and philosophy and music. And then, of course, my master's MTS and doctorate at University of Arkansas.
Okay.
I in behavior health, so I still do my music as therapy,
Okay.
as well as or also entertainment.
Right. And so I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
So we need to be doing a different show on music, huh?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah, because that career, music took me to a lot of places. Europe, different parts of Europe. I taught high school, college music. Actually taught at Grinnell College. Taught at Des Moines Area Community College.
Okay.
But I took several choirs to choir festivals. So yeah.
And so what do you specialize in?
In music, I classical, gospel, and also folk music, Negro spirituals.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And jazz. Jazz is one of the pieces, classical jazz.
Okay. So you have been doing that for 2 years now,
Well, for music?
Yes.
Music, oh wow, all my life. Several years, yeah.
which is like 3-4 years.
Oh, probably about 30 years.
Okay.
Maybe 2 or 3 years, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 years. Yeah. But yeah, so music has taken me to a lot of places, in front of a lot of faces, a lot of people, professional. I've done a lot even with corporate.
Mm-hmm.
I did something unique. I started a FedEx corporate choir,
Okay.
and
So you were with FedEx Corporation.
well, I was.
Doing what at that time?
I did at that time. I was teaching school,
Okay.
but one of the individuals that worked in human resources
Mhm.
knew that I was a musician,
Okay.
and so I came up with the idea. I said, "Why don't you guys?" They kept saying there were several people that know how to sing in corporate, vice presidents and different people. I said, "I tell you what, how about I start a corporate choir?" And they were like, "Well, never had that before," and so I put it off. We ended up about 40 people in the choir
Very nice.
performing for different corporate events.
And when was this?
This was it's quite some time ago. It was 15 years ago.
I see. Okay.
And it lasted for a while actually. And then, of course, everybody got kind of busy and then, of course, I was back and forth out of town in Iowa, so, yeah, so it kind of faded off a little bit.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let us talk about your children.
Okay.
How many children?
I have 40 children. Actually, I have 20.
Okay.
Okay, want me to tell the truth?
Okay.
Okay. Actually, I have total of 4 children.
Okay.
I have my son, my oldest, is 35.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is 26. My son recently went to college. He's 20, just turned 20,
Mm-hmm.
and he's in his first semester. Sophomore. He's
Okay.
majoring in cybersecurity, and my daughter, she's 26, got her own business. My youngest is just turned 11, and he's at Forest Hill Elementary. He's doing well on the principal list.
Very nice.
A musician. He plays violin, runs track, and he's pretty active in the choir.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He said he wants to do what his big brother's doing, being a cybersecurity agent. I don't know, but he has time. And then I have another son that I got. He's not biological,
Mm-hmm.
but he's. Oh wow, we became so close over the last 4 or 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and stepson. But he's like biological because, man, we've built a relationship that is. He's an amazing human being, a great family man. And he's, in fact, I'm starting a foundation for him to work with children. He almost went pro. He was an awesome basketball player.
All right.
And who also taught my youngest son that plays ball in California. Not the youngest, next youngest, plays basketball in California, San Diego.
I see.
And but yeah, so the one son I'm talking about, he actually lives in the stepson in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Great guy, doing some great things in the community.
All right. And you lost a daughter?
Yeah, I had back in 1994.
Okay.
Lanita, her name. She never walked home from school. Wanted to walk home from school with her good friend.
Mm-hmm.
She was an honor student. Wanted to be a doctor. She was also a majorette, and as a 9th grader, she's 14. She actually did the halftime show for the for any games or football, basketball. She was one of the majorettes. She was a key player on the team as a 9th grader.
Mm-hmm.
The one time she walked home, a 16-year-old came into the neighborhood, and we tried to provide a safe haven for our family.
Mm-hmm.
So he came into the neighborhood, and a 17-year-old came in the neighborhood driving through. They've been robbery all year.
Mm-hmm.
And so the 16-year-old bought a 9mm from a 14-year-old. Coming
Wow.
out for $40. That same gun alone, Sandeep, the same gun was used in 5 different crime scenes, and 5 people got arrested. Just for that gun alone, gun charges. That's even individuals from pawn shops that sold to minors.
Mm-hmm.
Good friend of mine, the prosecutor Henderson at the time, he was able to prosecute about 7 people that was connected to the case.
Mm-hmm.
Whether directed to the case or to the gun, the weapon that was used. So she walked home. The one day she walked home, the guy came in. He was shooting in crowds of children at a vehicle, kind of driving through. one bullet, you can imagine a 6-year-old with a 9mm, and out of control. One bullet went towards her home. One bullet went towards the head of her good friend she was walking with. She felt the wind of one of the bullets. Paramedics, friend of mine's daughter, and the last bullet landed in the back of my daughter's head, and she died within 30 minutes. It was a tough time for me.
I can imagine.
I was working on a master's. It was a lot going on in my life, and it was tough. And I was mad at God. I was mad at the world. I was the moment of just the anger. The guy that did it, I was mad, wanted to, find him. And of course, later, a friend of mine on the force, Officer Williams, found him. And he was given a life sentence. But eventually, part of that, from that experience, it transferred and into something positive instead of the negativity of my thoughts.
And I say that I can imagine, but I want to say I can only imagine. But it is sometimes even hard for me or even people to even imagine what parents can go through, what loved ones can go through when somebody is just killed or massacred on the street for no reason.
No reason.
And it is because of our past history and some of the policies and what we have in our country that is ruling, and even today. And you and I met at one of the meetings of Moms Demand Action.
Yes.
And I was touched by what you said and your pain for the loss of your daughter. And it is just too overwhelming. It's not you, it is person after person after person, so many people and their loved ones, and especially parents are going through this because teenagers are being killed.
Yes.
And they have absolutely no fault of their own.
Right.
And we have been going through this. So there has to be a sensible change in our country. There are people who take it upon themselves and say that, oh, don't take my gun away. And then we have to understand that it is about people who are killing other innocent people. But you said that you converted that into something positive.
That was at some point in your life, when something like that happens, you don't know how you're going to feel. You don't know how to feel. Sometimes you don't know how to feel. People come to you giving you advice. You go through counseling and you hear some behavior plan that could help you. But at that moment, it's like none of that works. So you have to, for me, I got to myself and I had to be in tune with the truth of what I wanted to do, my thoughts. And then, when you're driven to a point of, with the negativity and then your true character comes out, that, what would she would have wanted, your daughter? What would, and then you think about your upbringing, your mom and dad, giving you advice of, when you're faced with trials and crossroads of life, dark and dismal moments, you gotta be strong. So you hear their I would say you hear it's the ringing of the advice of mom, dad, grandmother, grandfather, and you think about trials of other individuals and how, things that they mastered, things that they conquered, so to speak. and I wouldn't say mastered, but conquered, because even when you lose, a loved one, it's like it's fresh. You can think about it often. But so for me, it was a drive. It was a drive of, am I going to stay bitter, or do I want to become better?
Mm-hmm.
So my character is that people ask me, they say, man, how you doing today, Doc? My phrase is, I chose to be great. So I said, they said, that sounds good. I said, well, I chose to be great before the outcome. And then finish it then, before the outcome.
Mm.
So I had to believe in some self-proclamations
Mm-hmm.
that I made, that I chose to be great before the outcome.
Mm.
The outcome may not be good,
Mm-hmm.
but we can make a decision, a conscious decision,
Mm-hmm.
before the outcome. So I did that, and looking at in the mirror, and knew that I was totally hurt, and at a point of I had to make a conscious decision
Mm-hmm.
to stay with the mindset of bitter hatred, or move towards being better.
Mm-hmm.
So my thoughts shift to what if Brian Mullen, the guy that killed my daughter, and Anton Felix, he was changed. The guy he was shooting at was, the media didn't say much about it, but he was changed 2 months later. And he started doing workshops against gang violence. And he was in a gang. He got out of the gang and started doing a lot of positive things. And he's doing positive things today. But the guy that actually did the shooting, that murdered my daughter, serving a life sentence, and doing, last I checked on him, he was, and I met his cousin, and he's still doing a lot of negativity on the inside.
Oh, really?
So
It's very sad.
sad, but I shift my energy towards helping younger children, teenagers, ages maybe 9 up to, because the age is so low now.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned quite a bit about gang activity. Did some work with the DA's office, going
Mm-hmm.
around to school systems and doing a lot of intervention, prevention workshops.
Mm-hmm.
Learned a lot about gang activity, and was able to perform a lot of gang intervention workshops. Even got a chance to train some chiefs with the Tennessee Chiefs Association.
Okay.
So the work is still going through the agency, and ultimately it brought me to a point through all of the, just looking at how many lives that I've been able to touch,
Mm-hmm.
center change, it brought me to a point of also writing a book. So I got a book coming out soon.
Very nice. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, as you see that when we say we're talking about promoting positivity through the promotion of love, peace, and harmony, we are still talking about some really bad things that have happened to people, some very sensitive, hurtful things. But the fact is that until and unless you talk about those things, you are not in a position to overcome those. You have to talk about it, you have to understand it, and then realize what needs to be done. So, from what you mentioned, I see that you decided that you want to overcome, you wanted to make a positive changes in your life and the lives of others.
Yes.
And you brought about those changes in yourself and others, and you didn't just move on, you moved on to make the pastures greener for yourself and for others. So what are the other things that you have done and pursued?
The other thing, I've helped several agencies that's either working with young people,
Mm-hmm.
working with community development,
Mm-hmm.
working with an outfit out in California. I'm on a board
Mm-hmm.
called Taking Future Incorporated.
Okay.
And we're in the process of building 5,000 upscale homeless shelters
Mm-hmm.
across the nation, starting in California, obviously, LA being #1 in the nation,
Mm-hmm.
homelessness. And then in Texas, the next breaking ground. I'm the secretary of the board. The director is out of Ghana.
Okay.
and she resided in Georgia and in California now. But however, uh, we've so I worked with that outfit, Taking Future. I've worked with outfits called the Jeremiah Project up in Des Moines, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
We've that outfit. They feed the homeless. One of the consultants with them, I actually started the foundation. I got more involved in writing 501c3s for individuals who, even at that, they were at that crossroad of maybe a death of a loved one, and they wanted to start an agency, on the behalf or in memory
Mm-hmm.
of. Done that across the nation. Recently, I've worked with Michelle Pugh, the Pugh Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Pugh Foundation. Lost her daughter back in October. He's a Marine, awesome guy, and came home, went to someplace out of town. He was just with his friends, and they don't know how he got killed. Someone shot him on the way home. He was serving our country. Awesome, positive guy.
Mm-hmm.
So she started an awesome agency. I work with, so the work goes on with even, I work with the school systems. I've done on subcontract basis now
Mm-hmm.
with the courts, mediation, and I do a lot of motivational speaking across the nation. I got a chance to go overseas, Europe, and build relationships with individuals who are building lives, one life at a time. One of the things I say in the book that I got coming out, I say one of the quotes I make: change isn't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
We know we have to change. We know that change is needed.
Mm-hmm.
In America, a change is needed.
Mm-hmm.
In Memphis, Tennessee, a change is needed.
Absolutely.
With the city council, with so many different entities, and how to deal with our young people,
Mm-hmm.
and how to address a change is needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
We can't. There's not a quick fix, or but I say that change isn't cheap. It costs the death of the old
Mm-hmm.
in order to experience the birth
Right.
of the new.
Yeah. And basically, the path to achieving these things are steep.
Yes.
It is tumultuous, and there are too many problems
Yeah.
and roadblocks
Yes.
coming in the way.
Yes. Politics.
Politics, oh gosh,
Yes. Yes.
And then of course you have to live your life.
Yeah. You got a life.
Right, and then you are there are so many things
Yeah.
going on in your
Yeah.
life already, and
Right.
then you're taking on a challenge
Yeah.
to bring about those change.
Yeah.
And so you having done so many things in itself
Yes.
is a big thing.
Challenge.
And we definitely want to thank you. But just based on what you have said, I think, and I see many interviews coming.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So there are a few things that, for example, offering housing for the
Yeah.
homeless,
Yes.
offering food for the homeless,
Yes.
and juvenile crime.
Yes.
There are way too many things. So
Yeah. Mentoring. Yes.
yeah, and I would definitely, I am inviting you on my shows,
Thank you.
and I would like to interview and go into depths of each of the aspects of the things that
Great.
you have done,
Thank you.
and we definitely will keep on meeting.
Sounds good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we are going to see Dr. Campbell a few more times, but until next time, have a great time. And when you tune into our show, know that no matter what problems, trials, and tribulations you might be going through, you are definitely going to hear something that is going to be motivational, something that's going to be inspirational to bring about positive changes in your life. It might not be the exact thing that you're looking for, but we have guests on our show that inspire and motivate. And if you are not motivated even watching, give us a call. The number to call is 901 849 DEEP. That's 849 3337. You can also reach out to us at sgp97 hotmail.com. So have a wonderful day and have the best of time. Thank you, Dr. Campbell.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you.
Bye bye.